Welcome everyone, friends and furs of all species. I'm Daisy Hyena, and we're back with another episode of Roman's Christmas. Now, this time, we just got over the last trial. Ines was murdered, and Solar murdered Lunik, who murdered Ines. So, let's see. Oh yeah, Roman also got super fucking pissed at Elegant because she faked evidence. I know that's a normal thing in today's society. Back then, they might have had more honor. I don't know. But anyway, we went upstairs, locked ourselves in a room, waited until lunch, and now it's lunch, so we're coming back downstairs. Let's get in this. I locked the door and walked downstairs. Peter was sitting across from Heron, his ears drooping down and his eyes bloodshot, like he had just finished crying. Or maybe it was stress. Man, I feel so bad for all of these people, man. Heron was scrutinizing him from across the table, elbows on the table, and fingers interlaced. He wouldn't have looked out of place talking in a confession booth. Sarin was quietly scrubbing an already spotless mug behind the bar, his expression vacant. Thrivey was staring down at his grimoire, though the lack of turning pages suggested he wasn't reading. Solar was seated in the corner of the tavern with a glass in her hands, the fur on her cheeks matted. Fortunately, no one unwanted had come. Who should I sit with? Oh, wow, nobody unwanted. Elegant isn't here, apparently. I'm gonna talk to everyone, though. Solar first. I sat across from Solar. She raised her head, hesitated for a while, and put the half-empty cup of ale down. Thank you. I shrugged. Solar paid no attention and continued. I don't know why I did it. Everyone says that. Most people who kill in the heat of passion barely remember the actual act itself. I just couldn't tolerate it anymore. How could someone who seems so decent change so suddenly? Solar was wringing her hands and leaned forward. How did I not? She halted, but finally didn't speak it out. If you were in my position, then, would you have... Maybe yes. I looked around and nodded quietly. Solar let off a soft sigh and seemed to relax a bit. You know, I don't really blame her, because heat of passion stuff, that really sucks, but he was an absolute piece of shit. Let's just be real. And the fact that he was so arrogant and all that shit, I'm not mad at it. Thank you, Detective. That means a lot to me. To tell the truth, who wouldn't go a bit mad when faced with something like that? Exactly. If our roles were reversed, I'm not sure even I could resist the urge. Who should I sit with? Sarin and Thrivey. I sat down at the bar. Sarin had picked up another cup to scrub and was idly talking to Thrivey. Surely it is. It's unbelievable that someone like Solar would do something like that. I couldn't believe it myself. But then again, I'm not surprised a lady from Cordoba would do that. Isn't it a tad gauche to judge someone based on their parentage? It's custom, not parentage. Sarin turned the cup down on the bar and leaned forward, tapping the wood of the bar with his index finger. If the judiciary is to be believed, Cordoban ladies tend to deal with unfaithful spouses in very direct manner. And how would a tavern owner this far north know such a thing? Thrivey frowned at Sarin, his expression quizzical. Secret, like the recipe for my cider. Soren shrugged his shoulders and walked to the kitchen. Oh, he probably dated someone from there and cheated. Who should I sit with? Let's see. Darby sat by the counter alone. Soren was busy in the kitchen. Who should I visit with? Peter and Heron. I sat down at an unoccupied table next to Peter. Peter had already stopped crying and was talking to Heron in a trembling voice. It is quite alright. If you need help, don't hesitate to ask. God would never abandon any of his children. He has abandoned all of us, motherfucker. Like, damn! Have you not paid attention to any of the shit that just happened? But it's too selfish of me. If I really do so, I would have make danger you. Put me in danger? Yes, put you in danger. By the blessing of God, I fear no such danger. Such bravery is God's gift for my service to his children. So don't worry. Just say whatever this request is. I can't sleep in my room. But the idea of Cain's killer was the only one. Well, away from me, But a change of room would just put you nearer to where Cain passed away, wouldn't it? Yeah! Don't worry. You need not fear any restless spirits, as I have given them the proper rights. They are where they're supposed to be. It's not that I don't believe you, it's just... I'm just... afraid. Father, can I change the room with you tonight? Haran scratched his head and sighed. Who am I to refuse such a small request from someone in need? Uh-oh, one of them is gonna die, I know it. We can exchange rooms after dinner tonight. Sarn pushed the curtain to the kitchen aside with his horn and came out with a pot. Alright everyone, lunchtime. What do you all want? There's not a lot to choose from though. We have only meat stew for now. If that doesn't agree with your appetite, then too bad. So it's either eat or don't eat. How nice to give us a choice. And if you're wondering about the flavor, I went a little bit overboard with the seasoning. No other reason. I'm guessing that horse isn't exactly palatable. Oh yeah, because we were gonna eat the horses. Sarin spooned the stew carefully into the bowls and collected the last bits of broth into the last bowl. Bon appetit, everyone eat up. Sarin put the wooden bowl in front of me, then walked around the table where Solar was sitting. Peter was poking at a stew, trying to find any vegetables in it. Thrivey was holding his bowl and sipping the broth gently, and occasionally sparing a glance at Heron, who was devouring the stew. Sarin turned back and took the last bowl of broth down to the cellar. I put the wooden spoon aside and held the bowl to my mouth with both hands. Suddenly a heavy thud came from upstairs. Ah, shit, not again! What in the world? The corridor was empty and every door was closed firmly. Lodgers followed one by one to see what had made the noise from the attic. I don't remember his voice! Stupid limp legs. He's awake! Darby squeezed past me and hurried up the ladder to the attic. And he wonders why people mistake him for being a kid. When I climbed up into the attic, Thrivey had lifted Anox from the floor and had seated him on the edge of the bed. Oh, much obliged. I'm just glad you're finally awake. I was worried that you wouldn't wake up. What is it? Oh, I missed his facial reactions. They're so much fun. Was it really that serious? Thrivey was nibbling on his index finger as he nodded. I slept. How long was I asleep? It's been... Thrivey quickly calculated on his fingers. A little over a day or so. And here I thought I'd wake up to find Helios 3 seated on the throne. Well, I doubt that. Before he could finish, Anox clamped Thrivey's mouth shut. Huh? Thank you. Which words are we?
Oh, between the heavy snow and dwindling population, I think we'll be fine.
What did you say?
Between the heavy snow...
Not the last part. What do you mean, dwindling population?
Well, the fact is, while you were unconscious, there was another incident.
Anox's hands stiffened. What? What happened? Who? Who was?
It's
Wait! Don't tell me! I'm starving. Please tell me if there's something available. I'd rather face tragedy with a full belly.
Ah! Yes, there is!
Thrivey glanced at me and raised his eyebrows. I had to admit I wasn't used to seeing eyebrows on a dragon. But given how fluffy he was, it made sense he had eyebrows. I looked into the stew pot. It was completely empty. It was so clean that I almost suspected that Sauron had thoroughly licked the pot. I should probably check elsewhere. Both Thrivey's food and mine are untouched. Mine. I took my bowl and walked upstairs slowly. A furry white paw reached down for the bowl. I stood on my tiptoes and handed it up to him. I can feed myself, thank you.
You'll do no such thing. Remember what happened when you tried to stand up under your own power? Now hush.
Thrivey was spooning the broth into Anox's mouth.
In your current state, all you'll end up doing is spilling it all over the bed.
Truly? Then if nothing else, I would have an easy midnight snack. I love his attitude.
I doubt Sauron would agree with you.
Well... Time to look around. I should be able to peek into someone's room if they're not there. Oh, let's hear these guys. Talk to. Re mi so sa mi so sa. Mi so sa ri fa. As I have feared, after such a long coma, my skill at singing has become rusty at my scales.
You're only unconscious for a day. It's hardly enough to forget basic arpegos.
True, but my head still hurts. Wait, you know about music too?
Speaking rhetorically.
Anox cast a doubtful look at Thrivey, sniffed the air, and shrugged his shoulders. You lack the sense of a musician. Since when is that smellable?
Unless you have urgent matters, I suggest you stay in bed until you're fully recovered.
Why me? Of all people in this tavern. Hey, you're not dead.
I have no idea. You'll have to ask vincel.
By the way, I have an explanation.
Huh?
There's no motivation for Vincel to kill me for... I'm not the one he wanted to kill.
Roman already explained.
Do you think I heard that? Aha! If he wanted to kill me, why was it not him, but Helen who sent me upstairs to fetch the rosary? That must mean Vincel is not the real murderer. The real murderer is Helen.
And this name sounds somewhat familiar. Maybe it's just some delusion.
Heron is the hyena. Wait, what? Buy me a... Okay. Heron. Why does he not... Do they just not talk? I guess. I want to know what is in this drawer. I looked around and quietly opened a silt in the nightstand drawer to peek inside. Huh. Was it really just a set of women's underwear? I immediately closed the drawer. Really? That's it? All of that over... Okay. Now I'm mad. Aaron and Peter were exchanging rooms. I'll wait until they finish. What happened to Elegant? Is she not here? There was a set of ordinary clothes in the bag, nothing that would make you stand out in the crowd while wearing them. The last thing anyone in her profession would want is a uniform. After all, you never knew when you would need to hide in the crowd. The only thing in that drawer is that notebook. I'm sick of seeing it. I guess there's no updates on that. Solar's luggage. I can't open it without her consent. Although the biggest reason is that I couldn't open the lock. I opened Vincel's drawer. It contains spice samples, wallets, and a pair of gloves. Strange, I remembered that when he was taken into the cellar. I heard footsteps from outside the door, so I quickly closed the drawer without touching the contents. With no murder cases now, it's inappropriate to search someone's belongings, or at least try not to get caught while doing it. Okay, so that's concerning. Oh, wait. Somebody in the comment section told me to check the bathroom because there was something in the demo. It seems there's someone inside. They weren't making any noise, but my instincts told me so. Oh, knock on the door. I didn't hear any sounds inside. I'm probably mistaken. I could tell that's Elegant, plus the fact that there's no one else in there. But yeah, that person who commented, let me see if I can find your name. Where's my phone? There's my phone. Fuck! I dropped my phone! E.E. Lee. So, E.E. Lee, I'm gonna look in the bathroom more often. It looks like I can't search it right now, so... But I will. Saren stood behind the counter, which was too narrow to pass by him. Oh. The hall was empty. There was only Saren, who had just put the kitchen in order and was standing beside the counter, and Solar, who was avoiding his gaze in silence. That would explain his eagerness to wed me. Do you think he could have ever loved me? Oh, I feel so bad for her.
I don't know.
Whether the answer is yes or no, it's still a tragedy. I can't imagine what caused this indiscretion. Was he always this way? And I just failed to see it? Have I grown too old or too thin or too fat for his liking? Or was it that I no longer excited him? Aw, babe.
Not to interrupt, but it's probably not your fault.
Perhaps, but I can't help but think that if we hadn't argued before, he wouldn't have.
Not to speak ill of the dead, but someone who cheats is going to cheat. No matter what the reason. No need to beat yourself up about it.
Who else should I blame then? Is it possible for me to push all this responsibility onto him? Why the fuck not? Now I was getting curious. How could someone who seemed as meek and gentle as Solar ram a dagger so deep into Lunic's body?
He isn't only to blame either. It wouldn't have been so bad if the laws of Aparium were a bit more lenient.
Lenient? A lenient law won't constrain anything.
That's not always a bad thing. For example, according to law here in Emporian, sex between males is a major crime. If it wasn't, he wouldn't have felt the need to marry you to hide his true self.
I like Saren is open. He's my man. I love Saren. Open-minded. Love him. At his true self. Solon lowered her head and turned the ring around and around in her paws. The drawer contains the arrows stained with Anais' blood. Most arrows only kill one person. I guess it should feel honored to be involved in 2 murders. Damn, that's... There's only some boring clothes in the bag, nothing that at glance would suggest that the bag's owner was a detective. 2 shirts, 1 white, 1 blue, in the same texture and style, and a pair of pants. Why is the snow still falling? Yeah, I've been asking though! Because there's no way it should be able to snow this much. The door, nothing special to pay attention to. The only reason I haven't said anything is because I'm from the south. It snows 0 times, except like whenever it's like a humongous, deadly snowstorm. But that's it. So I just figured that I'm not, you know, time to look around. I should be able to peek in someone's room if they're not there. So, if they're not there, are we going to Vincel's again? Maybe it's telling me. With no murder cases now, it's inappropriate to search. Okay. Oh, wait, there it is. What? I don't know at all. What will make him do such a thing?
I don't know.
Roman! Did Roman not tell you why?
He doesn't know either.
Wait, you mean that Roman doesn't know why Vincel wanted to kill me?
Yes, Vincel is bound in the cellar and refuses to say anything.
Help me out of this bed, I want to meet him!
It's useless.
Well, I would like to go downstairs anyway. I left some of my things downstairs.
Then I'll go fetch it for you. Describe the items, please.
You? Huh? Let's see if we can get something else. Nox was holding his lute and strumming gently, trying to work out his fingers. Tharvey was quietly searching for earplugs in his medical box. Is that all? Oh.
Why won't this snow stop? If this keeps up, I'll run out of things to cook and water to cook it with.
Solar didn't respond, but sat there quietly, stared at the ring on her finger. I mean, we could melt snow. Solar had pulled her wedding band off of her paw and was slowly turning it around. The fur on her digit was dented inwards where the ring had rested. Saren walked out from behind the counter and sat on the chair, stretching out as he did so. Perfect! Now I can go to the cellar! Vincel tilted his head to the side as he twisted against the bindings, holding his arm, his eyes unseeing. Vincel rocked violently on his chair, leaning towards the cellar exit with bared fangs and an angry, snarling hiss. What are you doing here? If you've got nothing to say to me, then get out! His fur was disheveled, his eyes were bloodshot, and his jaw trembled when he smoked like he wanted to sink his fangs into my throat. After just one day in the cellar, Vincel's gentile manners were gone, replaced with an almost feral, predatory savagery. Was he always like this, or just hiding it?
Yes, I already know, but you guys still don't stop. I'm not interested in telling you stories. Fuck off!
Vincel rolled his eyes and turned his head away from me. I climbed out of the cellar and returned to the hall. The tavern's atmosphere was a bit brighter since Anox had returned, and a long-absent smile had returned to Asarin's face. I sat down at the table by the hearth, opposite of Anox and Peter.
I suppose it's fortunate that I was the one who was struck by the latter, and not someone else. Don't say that, true. You don't have much fame or money for success right now, but... I actually meant that because I have scaly armor, otherwise, well...
Peter froze with his mouth half open, as though his brain was catching up with his jaw. No!
I mean, you're also right about the other stuff.
Sarin set 3 bowls of stew in front of us. The stew seemed a bit lower in quantity than before. I could see how stringy the meat was without even trying.
Enjoy your meal.
Wait, we had 2 horses. How could 2 horses be spread between 8 people? Like, I know horses got a lot of fucking meat. They are not small creatures. Oh, shit. Easy for him to say. You need a strong jaws to eat this. Anox held his bowl to his mouth and poured the contents down his throat. I could have sworn he didn't even chew it. Peter slowly picked at the pieces of meat, wrinkled his nose, and took a bite. I'd imagine Sarin's produce reserves were already empty, but in our current situation, being picky wasn't an option. After chewing for a long time, he turned his head and watched Anox lick the bottom of the bowl.
So hungry by any chance?
Of course! Do you think a dragon's appetite could be so easily satisfied? He's gonna give him the soup. Peter slowly pushed his bowl to Anox while using his body to block the movements of his hands from being seen by Sarin.
Besides, I was hungry before and I missed Christmas dinner. I'd swear I'd eat the horse saddle and all at this point.
Well, congratulations! Then you'll probably like the soup! Anox grabbed the bowl in front of him and poured the second bowl of stew into his mouth. After dinner, everyone stayed in the hall. No one wanted to be the first to go upstairs, so everyone sat silently in their seats, staring at each other with the sound of snow and wind outside the windows.
Now that everyone is free, how about we decide on night watch candidate for tonight?
As soon as Anox started to raise his hand, Thrivey glared at him.
You may have slept all day and night, but there's no reason for you to do a vigil before you fully recovered. As the resident doctor, I suggest you rest until your skills are healed. Don't even think about it.
Well, what a troublesome doctor you are.
Were I not so troublesome, you would be dead.
Fair.
I can do it. I am the tavern owner and...
Before he finished speaking, Sarin was interrupted by a great yawn.
Never mind.
I raised my hand. I can handle if nobody else wants.
Don't you have a cold?
It's fine, it's just a cold.
I can tell by your voice that your throat must be sore. Are you sure?
Don't worry, I'm fine. I adjusted my collar. It should be difficult tonight. Everyone went upstairs one after another, and I did too. I had to go back to my room and get something. The arrow for protection, I guess. Sarin followed me, and we went upstairs together. I got into my room, and I could hear the sound of keys turning and locks clicking coming from the hall. I settled down and prepared to spend the night awake. It wouldn't be too difficult to hear anything happening upstairs, so I might as well be here. In all aspects, in fact, this room was the most suitable place to keep watch. I just can't fall asleep. We're gonna fall asleep, aren't we? Day 5, 27th of December, 1285. Just just can't not fall asleep. There was a loud, sudden knock and my eyes snapped open. Oh no, I fell asleep. I knew it! This bitch-ass motherfucker. I could have done that so fucking easy. I quickly got up from the bed and hurried to the open... You were in the bed? No shit, you fell asleep. You sort of stayed in the chair and started writing something, I guess.
Oh, you're fine too.
I looked into the corridor from the crack of the door, only to find that there were several dark brown footprints on the corridor leading towards the spiral staircase. Damn it!
Then that just leaves Peter.
I knew it! Before I could react, Sarin took a hand from the keychain, but the key failed to enter the keyhole.
What the? Maybe this one.
After several failed attempts, Sarin growled and used his shoulder to burst down the door. The door slammed open. Aw, Peter. Blood. That was the only thing that would fill my thoughts at this point. The door swung open and the thick, sticky miasma of fresh blood flowed out, spreading from the blood-spattered wall. A pool of blood at the door was evenly smeared by the bottom of the door, painting a crimson arc. Peter was lying peacefully on his bed, a ham knife sticking out of his chest. The blood flowing from the wound was gelled and stuck to the fur of his trunks without falling. No traces of a struggle, no scream for help, no shocked expression. A quick, precise, painless death. That was the only comfort I had, and the only thought that kept me sane and aware in the face of such a brutal scene. Sarin stood there numbly. His hand fell slack from the doorknob as he stepped into the room, and his foot landing on a half-dried, bloody footprint.
How could he have so much blood?
It was as if every word had to squirm free from his gritted teeth. Sarin bent forward and slumped to the ground, and the impact from his body even shook the wooden beams that held up the ceiling. Anox and Thrivey ran from the side, holding his shoulders to help him up. Solar gritted her teeth and leaned against the wall. Aaron moved to help her, but Solar waved him away. Wait, one person is missing. I raced downstairs to the lobby. The fire was out. Oh, is there blood on the floor? Footprints stretched all the way from the stairwell and stopped in front of the counter. The dark red stained the carpet and the wooden floor. Roman was lying on this counter with his bed. Roman was lying on the counter. What? With his back undulating, and he slept soundly. The bottom of his boot was covered with a brown black clotted blood, and a fine powder was constantly peeling off the boot. What? Roman! Wait. The whole time was I elegant in this chapter? What? Taking care to avoid the footprints, I rushed to his side and shook him vigorously. Ugh. What happened? You fell asleep. What? I fell asleep? What time is it? There is one other matter. Is that blood on the floor? Before I could speak, Roman crawled off the counter, then froze. His horrified gaze followed the blood on the ground from the staircase to his boots. Peter is dead. It wasn't me. Really, why would I kill? You believe me, right? A rough, scaled claw rests on my shoulder.
We need to talk, now.
Sarin grabbed my arm and dragged me to the staircase. He whispered in my ear.
Elegant, I need your help. Have you ever done detective work?
Once.
Good enough. It should be obvious, but Roman is the prime suspect right now. Nobody's going to believe a word he says, much less let him investigate. So you need to do it instead.
He passed his keys to me while he was talking.
Oh, look, Roman's freaking the fuck out.
Are you certain of this? It would be better if I oversaw the investigation and vouched for his conclusions.
Roman told me that you're the cleverest feline he's ever met. I believe you can find the truth.
Faint praise aside, that hardly sounds like Roman.
And you're the only one who can prove Roman innocent.
I'm not interested.
Well, I guess I have to turn to Anox for help.
Absolutely not.
Start working then.
Hey, you, what the fuck? Okay. Now I'm super fucking interested. Poor Peter, oh my god. I knew Peter was gonna die next, but was that whole previous, thing? From the time we woke up to now, were we always elegant, or is it just today? Ain't this a bitch? Okay. Shit. This is gonna be difficult, isn't it? Fuck. Okay, I'm actually really excited now for the investigation. I hope y'all are too. Please be sure to leave a like and subscribe so you can see my content in the future and see if our boy Roman actually did it. If you have any questions or want to suggest a game or just say hi, leave it in the comment section below. I'm DZ Heine. I'll see you in the next vid.